Aloha!
Aloha.
It's nice to be back again with you
Thank you.
at your beautiful home on the Big Island.
Yes.
We are once again with a pretty famous author. The more I get into the book and find out, you're known pretty much all over the world.
That's right.
And you also have, I'm beginning to know that you have paintings all over the Big Island.
I do.
And that's really nice. And it's nice to have you inviting us back again into your beautiful home on the Big Island to continue our interview with this very, very moving and interesting book called My Fall Through Time by Agnes Claire Ventura. So let me just go back to our first interview. During that first interview, I asked you some questions, and the first question was, in your opening statement, where you mentioned that it all started the day I died. My first question was, what made you think you died? And I noticed that you mentioned that you had been someplace else. What place was that?
I think I went to where my grandmother is. My grandmother passed away in 1963, and this fall that I had happened in 1964. I think I went to visit her wherever her spirit was, wherever she was in the spirit world.
In the other questions that I had asked, one of them was, how did you know you were dead? And the other was, what was the feeling like? In this some other place that you had mentioned, you also brought up out-of-body experiences. What was that like?
Well, the first time that happened to me, the out-of-body experience, was about 5 months after I had that fall. And that at first was puzzling because I didn't know what it was about. But later I came to realize that my spirit had actually left my body, but that it actually was still connected by a silver cord.
Yeah, that's interesting that you mentioned that silver cord, because many other people are familiar with that expression, that silver cord. And I know that you had mentioned that in your book. So your thought is that when that silver cord is connected, you are still connected to your body even though you have left it?
That's correct. You're still connected. Your spirit is still connected to that physical body as long as that cord runs between the spirit and the body.
And you mentioned that you felt you had been with your grandmother. What was that like?
I when I fell I do explain this in the book as far as what had actually happened to me to cause me to have that fall and to see those flashing lights before I fell. It was later that the discovery was made of what had happened to me that had caused that fall. During that time when I was out, I was not present in my physical body. And this is why I do believe I went to the place where my grandmother resides, wherever that may be in the spirit world.
Did you see your grandmother?
I remember very vaguely when I woke up from being unconscious for a few hours. I remember being puzzled and confused because I kept thinking that I was with my grandmother. So when I woke up, it was, where am I?
So in other words, you're saying that your spirit knew that you were with your grandmother, but when your spirit got back into your physical body, the physical body or the physical mind had to catch up with the spirit, the spiritual being, to get that recollection of where that spirit had been. Is that correct?
Exactly correct. Yes, that is it.
Can you explain a little more on that?
What I've learned over the years, because of having had this happen to me, what I have learned is that the spirit leaves the body, although it's still connected by this silver cord. The spirit travels. The spirit travels to places that bring comfort.
Yeah, I remember reading about your travels in the book, and I would really like to get into more of that for our viewers. But I think we're going to have to save that for the next interview.
Okay.
But I noticed that you have many books on the table, and I know that they are selling. And I know because you have been having to order more books.
That's right.
So where can people go on the web to buy these books?
I have a website. My website is www.myfallthroughtime.com.
Perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that our viewers are able to get to that website.
Thank you.
And thank you, and aloha.
Aloha.